Hey guys, Steve Hanford here. I want to talk to you about scoring, helping judges and helping judging. And I hate to say it, but if you're a parent out there and you're watching judges, hopefully you're watching them do the right thing. So I want to talk about knowing if you're in the tenths or the hundreds. We started using the hundreds last year, maybe 2 years ago at our tournaments. And I want to just show how if the judges aren't on the same page, one judge can sway the whole thing. I've heard people say, oh, the hundreds is much more fair, the hundreds is much more fair. Okay, so I want to show how one judge can control it. And I got to say that I have done this before when the other side judges clearly don't know what they're doing. I'll give you an example about that later on. But I want to show you, sometimes I need to spread out my scores more so that I have a bigger swing in the scoring and the results. But here's how that works. So let's say we're supposed to judge by the hundreds. So competitor 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that's hard to see. Let's use my ring. Competitor 1, 2, and 3. Still on. All right, I'll bring it to you. Competitor 1, 2, and 3. So with competitor 1, 2, and 3, judge 1 gives, ooh, that was pretty good, 8.65. Next person comes up, that was better, and that was better. So you got 3 competitors, and they judged them accordingly. You got 3 people came up, they said, oh, first, second, third. Next judge does the same thing. We'll make them so they don't judge the exact same. So 8.65 and 8.66. Now, here comes the other judge, and he thinks that number 2 should have won. And he judges by the tenths. So he does, 8.5, 8.7, 8.6. No big deal. No big deal. So you got 2 judges. Sometimes we use show of hands when there's only 2 people. But when you have 3, you can clearly see that these 2 judges thought this person should win. But this one judge thought this person should win. But they were scoring differently. Here's the results. This makes 25.79. This makes 26.01. And this makes 25.93. So because of this one judge scoring by the tenths, where the other judges were scoring by the hundredths, that swung that whole thing to make this guy end up winning, even though clearly these 2 judges judged for that person to win. We had this happen at a few of our tournaments, and I've seen it happen at many tournaments. So last time this happened, it happened in the black belts, and they understood judging. The black belt competitors understood judging, and they could see the difference in scoring, but that falls back on the center judge and the judges to make sure everybody's on the same page. So this talks a little bit about the hundreds. Now let's say that he thought this person should have got last and this person should have got second. Well, 26.01 is still there, but that'll sway this, and that'll make it 8, 9, and so now this person got second. Just because of one judge's score judging in the tenths. So if you're going to judge in the tenths, make sure everybody's judging in the tenths. If you're going to judge in the hundreds, make sure everybody's judging on the hundreds. Same thing with the hundreds though. Are you doing 1? If there's a group of 3, especially if there's a group of 3, make sure it's like this. Make sure you're either all like this or you're all like this. When there's 3 people, 3 competitors come up, they come back, and you score them. Make sure that you give them these type of numbers. So let's talk about another type of judging where we use when we have 3 people coming up and we're scoring right after it. So 1, 2, 3. Hey, we're not going to call them back up. We're going to save a few minutes. Because when you have 3 people come up and then they go back and then you call them back up and then they have to come back, it takes a little longer. So, hey, we got 3 competitors. We're going to judge them how they come up. Saw this just at the tournament last weekend. So competitor 1, 2, 3. So this judge gave this competitor 7.5. Came up, did pretty good. We'll just talk about this guy. Next competitor came up, gave him a 7.6. Well, what are you going to do with this guy? If this is a 7.5 and this is a 7.6 and you're staying in the tenths, there's no place for that guy. What if this guy's better than that guy, but this guy's better than that guy? Well, you got to have a spot. So if you're doing that, and we're going to say in tenths, just to make it easier for our math, right? So 7.5, first competitor comes up, boom, 7.5. Good. That's average. Let's see how this guy does. He does better. Well, then let's make it 7.7. So now if this guy, he can fit in here if he needs to. Let's say he does better. Well, then you give him a 7.8 or a 7.9 if you want to stay in the 2/10. Let's say he does worse and he deserves down here. You can go 7.4 or a 7.3 if you want to stay in that 2/10. Judges are supposed to judge. Even if it's your student, even if it's your friend, you have to judge. My example is always when I had to judge with Mr. Robinson versus Charlie Van Helldorf. I voted for Charlie Van Helldorf on one of the forms because he did better. Did I want to hurt Mr. Robinson's feelings? I don't think it even did. But no. And we did show of hands and they faced, so he got to see me vote for Charlie. It was not a big deal. It was not a big deal. But there are some judges that would rather, I hate to say, root for their friends or do other things. But your job as a judge is to judge. All right, I'll talk more about something in the next video. Stay tuned. I hope this helps. Not only corner judges, not only parents, but mainly the center judges. You're responsible. All right, thank you so much. Keep on improving.